Krishna, tell me what you're seeing with the industry, this new trend of multiverse movies. Is this the Marvel Comicfication of Bollywood?
Well, so to speak, but the good thing is that this time around, it's not just that purely derivative.
Right.
If you look at the Vikram verse, if I can call it that.
The Loki Verse.
The Loki Verse
Yeah.
Of Lokesh Kanagaraj in the Tamil film industry. That's originally thought of. There's so much original thinking that's gone into it. It's not a universe for the sake of it all. The fact that they were able to weave in certain characters from similar worlds and similar situations was fascinating.
Right.
And even as you had the Astra-verse, which was planned like an avatar of sorts.
Yes.
It was planned as a 3 movies or 4 movies together.
Right.
The first installment came out, did okay business, wasn't exactly great, but a lot is expected from part 2 and part 3 with Shah Rukh Khan set to make a special appearance there as well. But of course, we're discussing this, you're rightly pointing out, because of the Tiger 3 releasing a franchise that hadn't seen the South wave, so to speak.
Right.
Now, everything that's happened has happened after Tiger Zinda Hai, so to speak, and kind of all these verses that have been happening. So it'll be interesting to see if YRF can, weave the Tiger with Pathan and then eventually, come out with a success. But the main point here I'd like to make here is that what are the beginnings of this entire versification as far as India is concerned? And you're talking about Marvel and DC. Imagine 10 years ago, where did Marvel and DC stand with Avengers and that universe and and their own universes, and how have those films panned out? So the net, there will be hits, there will be misses, and there will be disasters. Don't ask me which one is going to be a hit, which one is going to be a miss, but I think we should be prepared for a mixed bag.
Yeah, a mixed bag indeed. And do you think there's going to be a Pathan cameo in at the end of Tiger 3, like, returning the favor for the last film?
Yeah, I mean, that is the most expected thing possible at this stage. They are doing the spyverse. So when that happens, obviously, when it happened in Pathan itself, the crowd went berserk in the movie theaters. Of course, they want a repeat of it. Salman Khan needs a hit. He's been not working at the box office. It's the only thing that hasn't worked at the box office in the recent times, as far as nationally is concerned. You've had Shah Rukh Khan come back, his best friend, come back and deliver 2,000 crore rupee movies.
Back to back, literally.
Back to back in Pathan and Jawan. So Salman has a lot at stake. YRF has a lot at stake. So I would expect that they will play their best cards. And I would say one of the best cards that they have in their armory is the Pathan card.
Right, of course, the Pathan card. And Krishna, let's not forget the Loki Verse. I mean, we saw the third installment. Leo was the third installment of the Loki Verse.
So
it's more to come.
More to come, absolutely. Good that you're pointing that out as we're discussing Bollywood, because we invariably, forget regional counterparts, but then that's an entire world of verses altogether. It began with a film called Kaidi, with an actor called Karthi, Lokesh Kanagaraj's second directorial, which went on to become a hit. And of course, eventually he had to direct a film for Kamal Hassan called Vikram. And he was able to integrate Kaidi into Vikram. In fact, interestingly, a day before the release of Vikram, Lokesh Kanagaraj, the director, had tweeted saying that, before coming to watch Vikram, I request all of you to watch Kaidi and come.
So did he actually plan this Loki Verse, as they say, or was it just incidental that it just so happened and it was a force fit into this Loki Verse?
Good point you asked. I'm not sure if he planned it right from the beginning. I just think that if you look at his, films that he's made so far. First was a film called Managaram, which takes place in the middle of the night, in one night in Chennai city. All about the dark tones of the city, the dark underbelly of the city. That was the theme of his first film, which had no stars. It was just Lokesh Kanagaraj's first film, no stars, all newcomers, and went on to become a big success in Tamil. That was followed by a film called Kaidi with a big star, fairly big star, not the biggest of all, but a fairly big star called Karthi. And then, eventually by the time Vikram happened, because he did make a film called Master in between with Vijay, which had nothing to do with any of the verses that he was doing. But in Vikram, obviously, the kind of story that he picked up about drug lords and gangsters and cops and all that, sort of there was a fitment to get Kaidi in as well. At the end of the day, Kaidi means a Kaidi at the end of the day. His world of criminals sort of, interweaves itself with this. So I think that I don't think he pre-planned it before Vikram. But post Vikram, the question always arises, is your next film going to be a part of the franchise? And therein you ask a good question. Leo, the latest of Lokesh Kanagaraj, with Talapati Vijay as the hero, it was first announced as a film that was a standalone film. Nothing to do with anything of the Loki verse. But when I ended up going to watch the film in the movie theater, Sandeep, there were 2 separate integrations of Loki verse in the movie. There was a character from Kaidi who was integrated into Leo. And also right at the end of Leo, you have Vikram and his team making a special appearance for the last minute. So therein, I think I think his hand has been forced because now the expectations are too much.
So
and
every successive film.
And also everybody's
really
imagining what the end game is going to look like. If the end game can have everybody from Talapati Vijay to Kamal Hassan to Karthi to everybody, that's, quote unquote, the wet dream of movie fans of Tamil Nadu.
So Krishna, I agree with what Raja Sen says over there, that this, this phenomenon of characters, actors crossing over from industries now. Forget franchises, but they're actually, so you have Jailer, right? You have two very big southern stars who are extended cameos in that. So are we looking at the emergence of a new film industry, perhaps India would? For want of a better word.
For once, all different film industries in India are all trying to do the same thing. They're all trying to build their own verses. Hindi cinema is building its own verse, Tamil cinema is building its own verse, Kannada cinema with KGF is building its own KGF universe. They have a Salar film which is sort of off a tangent of KGF universe.
And even the Mallu film industry, Kerala film industry, the smallest of the four, they even got a Minnal Murali verse.
Right? Absolutely, you hit the nail on the head, Sandeep. It's a film I loved. We keep saying in India that India should not attempt superhero movies. Why? Because we don't have the budgets. Who said so? That Minnal Murali on Netflix was made at a budget of 20 to 25 crore rupees. Superb storytelling, superb world building of Minnal Murali. Can't wait for more Minnal Murali franchise whenever they plan it. So it's a good point that you make, that stars are really looking at it as an Indian film industry. The Tamil film industry wants to make a film that can be a hit in Hindi. The Hindi film industry wants to make a film that can be a hit down south as well. So there is wanting to grab as much audience as possible, especially when the momentum is good and the going is good as far as people's mood to going to movie theaters are concerned.
That's right. I think, Krishna, it's a whole thing of it's budgets, right? It's finances. You have to get more bang for the buck, and you have to address bigger audiences, and you can't just make a Tamil film or a Telugu film. You have to reach out across the world.
If you want to make the films that you want to make, if you want to tell the stories that you want to tell, if you need the budgets that you do need to make content that is world class, that where you don't see it like this is Indian and this is Hollywood.
That's right.
Now those lines have merged too.
All blurred, absolutely.
Those lines have merged, not just the internal lines within India, but the lines between Indian content and Hollywood content.
Right, and look at Kalki. Kalki made its debut. The first look was unveiled at Comic-Con. San Diego, and it looked like I was looking at an installment of the Blade Runner franchise.
It was spot on. Maybe the artwork does remind people of Blade Runner. I would agree with that. So, but then some people might have issues with that. But the fact of the matter is that, and look at the casting of that movie. The great Amitabh Bachchan, Big B. The great Mr. Kamal Hassan. You have Deepika Padukone, you have Prabhas. Look at that casting. So that tells you the story of Indian cinema. And I thought it was great that got showcased at Comic-Con in San Diego, saying, this is Indian cinema, deal with us. Because, you're going to take Kamal Hassan, he's going to have a set of body of work that you're going to deal with. Amitabh Bachchan, heck. Prabhas now after Bahubali. Deepika Padukone on her own. So, they will realize the fact that it's not them only who are making the end games. We make our own end games ourselves here in India.
This is Indian cinema, deal with us. Thanks, Krishna. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for being on the News9
Great being
show.
Here, Sandeep. Great talking to you.
The festival season is upon us. It is the most awaited time of the year when we at the TV9 network come together as one big colorful family. Thanks for watching, and Diwali greetings to you all.
News9 Plus. Download now.